Hello guys, this is Model RR3102 here, back in the layout. Today I'd like to do a very special product review as the all-new ScaleTrains Rivet Counter line HO Scale C44-9W, otherwise known as the Dash 9, in Norfolk Southern paint scheme number 9692. This locomotive is equipped with ESU Loksound version 5.0 decoder, which is ESU's newest generation of Loksound decoders. And these were just announced in 2019, the 5.0 decoders. The Dash 9 here was announced at the Rivet Hobby Show back in January 26, 2019. And they're doing the operator and Rivet Counter lines in both HO and N scale. For the Rivet Counters, they're doing Santa Fe as delivered, BNSF 43 through 4500 series as delivered, modernized Norfolk Southern versions with the horsehead scheme, and Union Pacific repaints with the red sill stripe, direct Southern Pacific versions. Then the operator lines are doing Chicago Northwestern, BNSF, Union Pacific, and Norfolk Southern. For the HO scale versions, the Rivet Counter line, they retail for $264.99 with Loksound version 5.0 and $174.99 DCC Ready, and that's the price you pay both at ScaleTrains.com and through select retailers. I happen to pay mine through ScaleTrains.com when they first came out. ScaleTrains announced the NS 9692 and BNSF 4313 as the two road names and road numbers selected for the in-stock models. The rest you can pre-order right now. So first thing you'll notice when you're doing the locomotive unboxing is that they got these stickers right here. They're factory sealed. They've been doing this with a lot of their newer models as of like 2018 or so. They never had these stickers when they did the SD40-2s and Tier 4 Gyros, but I believe they started putting them on for the C39-8s. So in order to cut it, you just can take a little bit of a tool knife. I'm just using some axle sharpener for the trucks, and I'm just going to cut it open if I can. I don't know. I haven't cut one of these, so that side's open. And again, this is the first time I am cutting this locomotive open, so again, they're doing this in both the Rivet Counter and Operator series in both HO and N scale. And I thought I got this cut all the way, but I believe I do now. Okay, all fixed now. I just there's one little part I didn't get quite entirely cut off, but box is pretty stiff, which might be a good thing depending on who you're looking at and who you're talking to. So here's the operator's manual. Again, it shows the GE C44-9W. Looks like a Santa Fe prototype is pictured here just by the Leslie RS3L horn right there. So here's the first page. Talks about maintenance, lubrication, and disassembly of the locomotive. And then this page shows an introduction and the DIP switch that is found inside the locomotive, especially if your model is a DCC Ready model. It might be a little bit more important. And then this flips open almost like a big brochure, and it gives you an idea of what the functions and what the sound functions all do. Gives you a list of horns and bells, and then over here is the function chart, and if you use Digitrax, what you need to do. So if you need to look at them, again, here's the first page, here's the middle page, Here is the function mapping list, and then the DIP page. And this is a foam insert, and now the locomotive itself, the moment we've all been waiting for, the bad boy, NS 9692. And they do also include some extra rotating bearing caps with each -9. Since all ScaleTrains Rivet Counter locomotives and rolling stocks have rotating bearing caps per prototype, and the high-ad trucks that GE uses for their -9s, and even for their GEVOs and Tier 4s, they have rotating bearing caps on these high-ad trucks. And when you're removing the -9s, make sure you remove these caps that are on the trucks, and they are a part of the packaging. I think mine just came off on its own, so the box is in a 2-piece cradle once you open up the inserts and whatnot. Now take off the handrail protectors. Just be careful not to break any of the handrails when you're doing this. Bang. And just like that, we got the Norfolk Southern C44-9W. Now, some of you are going to say, isn't this originally a C40-9W? Yes. Norfolk Southern -9s all started off as C40-9Ws. However, over time, around 2013-2014, they decided to upgrade all their -9s to 4,400 horsepower. So, NS 9692. This locomotive was built in the year 2000 for Norfolk Southern, of course. Couple spotting features on this NS-9. You got the PTC antenna on top, which is something that was not added to this unit until 2015. So this locomotive would be appropriate for any modern era modeler, 2015 to present day. You also have the Norfolk Southern horsehead paint scheme, which also wasn't applied until 2015, just after the PTC antennas were installed. You got the Dayton Phoenix model 280-260 HVAC unit. You also have an E-bell down here, which is correct for any NS-9 built sometime in 2000 into 2004. Don't remember what unit number it started with, but somewhere in the early 9500 series did they start adding E-bells to these -9s, and that is correct. You also got a Nathan K5 LA horn, which is also correct. Here are some of the truck details. And these are later-ish high-ad trucks. You can see where the rotating bearing caps are at, right here. Down here. Let's see if the brake detail is molded on or if it's actual chain. Looks like they're molded on. Same thing as what they did with the Tier 4s. Let's go to the front of the locomotive. I'm going to try to get this in a better angle. So you got the white number boards, which is correct for NS 9692. You also got the white unibrow, which has pretty much been a standard for all new NS repaints. You got the wider handrails stanchions. I like to call them the East Coast type handrail stanchions, because the handrail stanchions you typically see on East Coast railroads, especially today's railroads. BNSF and UPs are the narrow ones. CN has had these East Coast type handrails with their Dash 9 and earlier Gevos, then went to the narrow ones, or what I like to call the West Coast type handrails for the later Gevos. Up until the newest Gevos, in Tier 4 Gevos, they went back to these type of handrails. You also got ditch lights mounted at the correct position. You got a snow plow, MU hoses, MU cables, and a ScaleTrains Type E knuckle coupler, their own proprietary coupler. You also got these two wired grab irons on the top of the cab. And all grab irons are separately applied metal grab irons. Now on this side, you got the fuel tank, looks like a single valve on this end. You got more rotating bearing caps on these end of the Dash 9. You got sunshades. Handrails look pretty straight on the Dash 9, which is pretty good. There's the bathtub exhaust, typical for GEs. And see-through radiator grills. Something that I think is really cool for ScaleTrains to do is to create the see-through grills on these Dash 9 models. The locomotive also is equipped with LEDs, front and rear headlights, ditch lights, and a feature I'll show you later, the front and rear walkway lights, along with the engineer's side cab walkway lights. Now moving to the rear of the locomotive, you got the high headlight, vertical. The headlight didn't turn horizontal until the Gevo series in 2009. Again, you got the wider handrail stanchions. And then you got pretty much the same details on the back of the locomotive as you do on the front, minus the snow plow. And then you got the spare knuckle holders on each end of the locomotive. So enough with that. I'm going to now put it on the scale and see what this weighs. So, I don't know if you can tell that or not, but that is 23.8 ounces. Which comes out to be 676 grams. 1 pound, 7.8 ounces. 0.0676 kilograms. For comparison, this locomotive weighs 2 ounces lighter than the first run Tier 4 Gevos that ScaleTrains did. And it's heavier than the SD40-2s that ScaleTrains did. Those came around, I believe, 18 or 19 ounces. So this is pretty heavy locomotive. Not as heavy as the Tier 4 Gevo, although the Tier 4 Gevo is a longer locomotive than the Dash 9. And then before I put it on the track, I'm just going to check wheels to see if they're all engaged. Sorry for the poor camera movement. All look good to me. So again, these locomotives are equipped with ScaleTrains proprietary metal knuckle couplers. I'm using a key number 158 for the number 206 coupler height gauge. And it looks like the coupler is low according to the KD height gauge. I've had a lot of ScaleTrains products where the couplers come saggy, so it might be due to the result of a sagging coupler, but we'll see. I do intend on replacing these ScaleTrains couplers with KD number 158, so, and now you be the judge on that. Coupler looks about correct on the front. I want to say that's pretty good. I'm calling it good on that. So good on the front end, a little low on the rear of the locomotive. And I believe that coupler is sagging a little bit, so not bad for the Dash 9. Because I know I've had a bunch of ScaleTrains products where the coupler height's pretty low. So now let's get to the testing of the sounds and lighting feature. Alright, so I got the locomotive on the main track here, and all you have to do with any ESU Loksound decoder, regardless which version it is, between the Select version 4.0 and the new ones, the version 5.0s, all you have to do is just hit function 8. Alright, so I just started up the locomotive. Function 0 is the headlight. Function 6 is the ditch lights. Now with Norfolk Southern, they should flash when you blow the horn. So I'm going to turn on the bell first, which should be an E-bell. And now the horn, which to NS should be a K5LA. Function 3 is the coupler crash. Function 4 is the dynamic brakes, which I'll show when I'm moving. Function 5 and Function 7 are not used for the Dash 9s. Neither are Functions 14 or 15. Function 9 is the drive hold feature, which I'll show you later. Function 10 is the independent brake. Function 11 is the manual radiator fan. Not sure if you were able to hear that, but I was able to hear it, barely. Function 12 is the headlight dimmer. And it turns off the ditch lights when you do it, which is correct for the railroads. Function 13 is the air dryer. Function 16 is the air dryer on shutdown. Function 17 is the automatic brake set and release. Function 18 is the sanding valve. Function 19 is the short air let-off. And function 20 is the manual compressor. And the number boards and walkway lights are all tied into function 8, which is the startup cycle. I'm going to remap that in the future, and I'm actually going to turn off function 6 right now, just to show you guys the walkway light. So that light right there just Below the horse head on the logo is the front walkway light. The side walkway light I'll show you when I turn the locomotive around, and then there's also a rear walkway light. The locomotive also is equipped with two capacitors, supercapacitors, which are called ESU power packs, and this should help if a model loses power over time, a short period of time. So I'm going to turn the locomotive on speed step 1. Now I got the locomotive in reverse. Let's see if you can see that walkway light from there. That's the walkway light in the back. I think the handrail stanchion is in the way. There. I'll turn on function 6 again. Now I'm going to turn on function 4. I disengaged it. And they do have the horns and bells. You can change it via CV163. You can change the horns on that. And then for the bell, you can change that on CV164. They used to be a little bit different with the Loksound version 4s and the Selects. That was all on CV48. So I don't know what CV48 is now. So I will say, with first impression of this locomotive, the LEDs I'd say are much better in this Dash 9 than they are on the SD40-2 and the Tier 4 GEVOs. And I'd definitely say they're better than the Athearn SD60Es as well. So I'm going to turn on function 9 and show you guys the drive hold feature. Alright, so I'm going to move the locomotive a little bit. I'm going to flip it around and just see how good the supercapacitor is. If I disengage function 9, I might be able to do so. I'm going to flip the locomotive around. Notice how long that took to go out. It took probably about 4 seconds right there. So pretty good capacitors on the Dash 9 or ESU power packs, whatever you want to call them. And if you look right here, that's the side engineer side walkway light. And that is something that has never been done, to my knowledge, in HO scale ever. The front and rear walkway lights have been done, but not the side ones, which is really impressive. And the version 5.0 decoder, I believe, now supports up to 14 lighting outputs with these ScaleTrains locomotives, which is really impressive compared to the version 4s, which I think we're only up to 12 with the ScaleTrains model. So, and now, here's the shutdown. And notice how the walkway lights go out once you turn them off. They're all tied into the function 8. So that pretty much wraps up the sound and lighting features of the ESU version 5 decoder for the ScaleTrains Dash 9. Now let's wrap this review up. Alright, so overall, I really like this Dash 9 locomotive. I truly think that this is the best Dash 9 out on the market. No questions about it today. It beats Athearn by a mile. It beats Kato's 20-year-old tooling, and it beats MTH, even though MTH's was hit and miss on certain models. It was a hit for NS, but I still think ScaleTrains did a better job with the Dash 9. A few things I like to point out about the Dash 9 that I really like. So first off, I really like the fact that they decided to take advantage of the new ESU version 5.0 decoder for the Dash 9, since that was a decoder that literally just came out and announced at the beginning of the year. I really like the fact that they decided to use front and rear walkway lights and engineer side walkway lights as extra lighting features incorporated onto the Dash 9. I know Intermountain did front and rear walkway lights on their Tier 4 Gyros, which probably prompted ScaleTrains to go ahead and do something new for the Dash 9s. I also really like the fact that the quality of the Dash 9 was much better than what the Tier 4 Gyro were. If any one of you watched my video of the Tier 4 Gyro review, you'd probably be disgusted because the Tier 4 Gyro's quality was not good. I had broken parts, missing parts. Decoder was programmed a little funky out of the factory. It was just a complete disaster for the Tier 4s. I noticed nothing broken, nothing missing, and everything was working as supposed to be for the Dash 9. And I want to give kudos to ScaleTrains for making those improvements, because it definitely deterred me from buying another Tier 4 Gyro, at least for the time being. But this Dash 9, I'm super impressed. I really hope that ScaleTrains does a Canadian National and BCOL version down the road, and I've heard they will, because I'm going to tell you right now, CN and BCOL versions will sell like hotcakes. It blows my mind how good this NS model is. It's going to blow my mind even more when the CN and BCOL models come out. If you have not ordered your NS9692 or BNSF 4313 on ScaleTrains website, I would suggest you do so now. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and pre-order any road name or road number you want through them or through any select retailer. Couple select retailers I would prefer going to: May Model Works, Engine House Services, and Lombard Hobbies. Those are three I've shopped with in the past. Oh, and Spring Creek Model Trains. I would prefer any of the ScaleTrains dealers, including those I just mentioned. So, anyways, thanks for watching. See you all next time.